Does anybody else in the world remember the console wars? If not, let me bring back some memories or nostalgia, as we like to say nowadays. And it's the fact that, well, you only have the main three: PlayStation, Nintendo, and Microsoft, or Xbox. And throughout those times, I remember in my younger days, you had to pick one of the three. There was no, I own two consoles, or I own both a Nintendo or a PlayStation and an Xbox. No, it doesn't work like that. You either pick one or the other. And PC wasn't the whole big deal how it is now, due to the fact that, well, who wants to build a PC or buy a pre-built? It's expensive. All you have to do with a console, put it together, connect it to your TV, and boom, thing turns on just fine. Now that the fact that, well, now everybody's been mostly trying to get a PC, which I do not blame. That's what I did, and they're just forgetting about consoles. So, in my opinion, out of the big three, who really won? Drum roll, please. Nothing. I don't think neither of the big three has really won the console wars because, well, Nintendo really just mind their own business. They know what to do. Kid friendly, family friendly games. So, you can get these for your kids, and grandma and grandpa can give you this for Christmas. And Sony tried its best, and Xbox, but sadly, there's no war between these two. And well, PlayStation used to have a lot of games. In my opinion, they had more games and better exclusive, which I grew up liking more, like Crash Bandicoot or God of War, for instance. And I'm probably missing a couple like Spiral the Dragon. And now Xbox, they had Halo, they had Gears of War, Zora's Wrath, Killer Instinct. They also have some that the PlayStation doesn't have. Well, it doesn't hit the same when almost every freaking console has the same game and it's exclusive to anything. Back in the day, there was no crossplay. Only PlayStation 3s can play with PlayStation 3s. Xbox 360 stays with the Xbox 360s. And it just goes on from that. And Nintendo, well, it was just meant for casuals. Nothing wrong with that, by the way. But that doesn't change the fact that, well, the console wars doesn't feel the same how it used to. Honestly, because, well, for instance, ever since I got on a PC, I just never looked back on it since. Consoles have never hit the same ever since I built the PC because, well, if I want to play a console game, well, PC probably has it. Who knows? Maybe it doesn't. But it doesn't matter because, well, I'm not really that big into how big the graphics are. I just more like the thing that the PC has a lot of things you can do to it compared to a console. I mean, like you can mod things, have certain games are just way easier on PC, like Terraria. My opinion that I think Terraria plays way better on the PCs. Same thing as Minecraft. But other times they have games that were meant to be on PC. Team Fortress 2. It's still a live game somehow, so is Counter Strike, and where you're gonna mostly play it on? On a PC. I don't think PC is the best of the best of all consoles, in my opinion. I think it doesn't matter whatever you like, and I don't think it should stop us from liking from playing video games. And matter of fact, that I remember back in the console wars, you're either picking Xbox or PlayStation. That's it. Nintendo just does its own thing. And the fact that, well, I was convinced because I never had. This is when the PS3 and Xbox 360 were having the biggest beef of all time. Which one you prefer to get, the PlayStation or the Xbox? And I had neither. I had friends convincing me to get an Xbox. It has Gears of War. They're playing Gears of War. Of course, I want to play Gears of War. It was awesome. The chainsaw gun just hacking people away. Or you got God of War. Hey, I love Kratos. Of course, I need a PS3 to get that. And there was just everything that I just don't know what to pick. I like to both of them, but sadly, I had to pick one of them. And obviously, I have stuck with Sony since from childhood till now just straight up not caring and just go on PC. If there's times that I play my console, yes, and it's mostly my Switch 2, which I just take to work casually. That's it. Me and my friends just having a blast playing Smash Bros. Ultimate. nothing too crazy. What makes the console wars a bit more strange is, well, there wasn't really many exclusive coming out. When the PS5 was announced, well, God of War Ragnarok was coming out. I thought that was the best thing in the world, man. That like it was a gift from God. And obviously I spent my paycheck on the PS5. Was it worth it? Yes. God of War Ragnarok was awesome. Definitely. And what the Xbox came out with? I don't know, you tell me because I don't actually remember. Nintendo Switch came out with Mario Odyssey. And how did that do? It also did pretty good. It was awesome too. I actually like it. Granted, I don't have the game itself. I actually played it from my friends that have it. But that doesn't change the fact that, well, I have stuck with PlayStation my entire life out of the whole entire console war. I think it ended when the PS5 was getting announced and the Xbox Series S. So pretty much the exclusive was just God of War and Xbox. I just low key forgot. Maybe I think it was Halo Infinite. I actually don't remember. And Nintendo was Mario Odyssey. What did PC have in store? Well, you got every game that you can check on the Steam store or whatever website you use to download games. It still holds up to this day. Matter of fact, screw it. They had Schedule One, and I remember I wanted to play Schedule One. And as soon as I built my PC, that was the first game I bought on the PC, and it was freaking amazing. So yeah, out of the entire my existence, the console war just never felt the same. Heck, I got a PlayStation and an Xbox controller, but this is mainly for the computer just to play fighting games. Well, this one is just for my PlayStation. And that's it. That's pretty much it. Most games from Xbox and PlayStation is on PC. So really, am I really missing out much? No. I mean, PlayStation did end it off now, no longer game exclusive for PC now, so I had to go back to playing PlayStation depending which exclusive it is. Because if it's another God of War, I'm hopping back on the PS5 just to, get it. And I just don't have an Xbox Series S, so I just don't know and I care less for it. But my Nintendo Switch too, I just got Mario Kart World and just play Smash Bros Ultimate on it. That's it. Like I just have Switch One games and just the backwards compatibility they whatever the Switch 2 has now. So there we go. So that's pretty much it. The fact that the PlayStation, I had this PlayStation, I don't know how many years, but I remember it was like probably still when COVID was still around, and I finally got my hands on one when it finally ended. It blew my mind because I actually thought I was gonna be playing console for the rest of my life. I never thought about streaming or doing YouTube. I just wanted to come home from work, maybe a long day from the gym as well, and hop on, play with the boys. Instead, I'm just seeing myself more just playing on my computer, having a blast, just being me. And I look at my consoles from these three sitting there, my Wii, PS3, 3DS, my PS5 under my desk. I don't even think twice. I'm just gonna look at my PC and say, turn on, and just continue what game I have there. Because at this point, I think the mastermind itself was computers all along. I remember when I was a young kid, my cousin went from an Xbox 360 gamer. It was prime Modern Warfare 2 back when you do 360 Tomahawk L MLG crazy edits. Well, that's what I grew up on the time. I might get called old for that, but that was the moment I remember as a kid. I just seen my cousin do all that, and when he finally hit that craziest thing ever. I'm gonna say it. But then I don't know where he just stopped playing and went on the PC. I just remember when he was playing League of Legends, and I knew if I ever have a computer, do not get League of Legends. You lose your sanity. I was watching him in person, the same room. I was playing the Nintendo Wii he had, just playing Smash Bros. Brawl, playing Subspace Cemetery, and I'm just hearing him yell at his teammates, which I don't blame because, well, I have never played League of Legends myself, nor I'll ever pretty much losing streak. When you're playing a ranked game, your rank really matters at the time. So pretty much, just seeing him smack his freaking mouse and his keyboard, like not like stupid crazy where the keys fly out or anything, just yelling at his team. That was prime league at the time, and I just knew they'd never get that. But PC was just cool because, well, he was playing some games I've never seen, like Team Fortress 2. I have never seen that game in console before. Now they made a Portal, Team Fortress, and Counter Strike in a Xbox 360, which is pretty awesome, but it's more popular on the PC. But yet, it didn't change the fact that I just wanted to get a PC ever since that. And obviously, it was expensive for me. I didn't want to get a pre-built because, well, I was convinced to not get pre-builds. Nothing wrong with a pre-built, in my opinion. It's to save people more time for, what if you don't feel like building it or you just don't never have the time to build it? Well, just get a pre-built. That's fine. Just learn how to upgrade it here and there. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Compared to me, where I had to build mine and I had friends to help me with it, they told me that it's way better for you to know and how to upgrade it because you built it. You know exactly where everything's at. It's all preference at the end of the day. But the console wars was just something else that brings back good old memories. My friends telling me that I should get the PS3 because, well, it was free online. Uh, it just had better games, better exclusive. What do they say about Xbox? Well, the graphics are really good, which I will say. I think Xbox just had really good graphics at the time compared to the PlayStation 3. Does anybody here just remembers when DLCs were were getting up there? They weren't as yet too big, It depends what downloadable content you're trying to get, but PlayStation has to wait a couple months. Compared to Xbox, they just get it right away when it was announced. You wait on a certain day, they get it, and PlayStation has to, you know, play the waiting game. I remember just seeing a trailer of The Last of Us for the PS3 when it was launching with the PS3. I thought that was the sickest thing ever because Last of Us was a really good game. And obviously the PS3 did look like a weird console. I mean, shoot, look at how the way it looks. Look how it looks. What makes you think that I want to get something like this instead of an Xbox? Well, it's PlayStation. So if you've always been a PlayStation fanboy, well, you're gonna pick it besides the ugly designing they chose. I'm gonna admit it. The design is not my favorite, but it's something. And the Xbox was just simple. And I always like the sound effect that they added with the exclusive they have, like the Gears of Wars where you turn it on, it does a chainsaw effect, or the R2D2 Xbox 360. I thought that was freaking awesome. I know PlayStation has their own, but Xbox I remember more. Now the PS4 and the Xbox One was the next one in line, and I personally just wanted the PS4. I'm gonna be real. The PS4 just was the way better console. I thought it was more powerful than the Xbox One. And I have friends that had Xbox Ones get mad at me for saying that. And sorry, but I think PlayStation 4 was just the better console choice out of all of it. And later on, I was right. If you either pick the Xbox One or the PS4, and Nintendo released the Wii U. We don't talk about the Wii U because nobody really had it. And it was not that good of a console. I'll admit that. And I never had one. Like I said, I never had the Xbox One, a PS4, or a Wii U. Yeah, I had a PS4 in the late when the PS5 was announced. So I had it like probably like 2 months in, and boom, the PS5 and Xbox Series X just got announced. So I was like, great. I felt like I wasted money on that, but really, I didn't really miss out because it was COVID era and it was really hard to actually get your hands on one. Like every time I go on Walmart trying to purchase it online, refresh it every time, sold out. Scalpers were really messing with my brain on that day, and especially with the God of War bundle because I really wanted Ragnarok so bad because God of War is one of my favorite series. And yet, now after looking at this whole console war back in the day, it's not as hype. Like it's just not as good as it used to be because everything's just crossplay. And so pretty much any of your friends with PCs, Nintendo, depending on the games, and Xbox and all that, you can all play it together. Which don't get me wrong, it sounds cool and all, but at the same time, console people like Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo barely have to try. Well, except honestly, Nintendo just mind their own business and well, just release things, and that was it. We can't get exclusives on the PS4, on a PC, or on an Xbox. Because Xbox just pretty much said, "Here, you can have Halo for the PlayStation. You can also, matter of fact, get Gears of War for the PlayStation." That blew my mind. Being on the PC wasn't really that surprising to me because, well, almost anything's going to be on the computer at this point. Even console games that are going there. PlayStation did the collab with them with Steam, have an exclusive. I thought it was cool. And most people were just modding the heck out of God of War. I remember seeing the God of War where Kratos was just having a big head and it would just take his torso and that was it. Oh no, PC was just the better option at this point, in my opinion, because well, it has a lot of things you can do more powerful than in the console. Not only because of GPU, you can add more storage. You can pretty much do anything. The only problem is when it comes to PC is really just affording it. Either it's a pre-built or a build because trying to build it at this point is pretty expensive now due to the fact that well, when the RAM price, I don't know if RAM is still rising or it finally just stopped a little bit. Or the same thing as GPUs. I remember I had to get a certain GPU that I wanted. It was a really good one. I don't remember. I think it was a 40 something series, and I was stuck with a 3050 series, which I'm not gonna lie, it still gets the job done. I know it's not the best of all, but honestly, for a budget build, it's pretty good in my opinion, and it gets the job done. My games still run higher than most other GPUs, like console GPUs. I'm not trying to say like if your 40 series is better than mine because obviously it's better. Okay, a 30 series, I would have gone with a 3060 if they had some in Best Buy, but sadly that was the only one they have. So what could I do? Wait? No, I just wanted to build this shit right now. I've ever just buying every single part. Amazon just giving me my parts. I just want to build it. That's all I wanted to do. After all my life, I've been alive for 23 years, and yet console wars just doesn't seem the same. To the point, like I said, have been starting collecting them just for memories. I've been right now looking for a PSP. I love the PSP. Everything about it was amazing. So yeah, and that's all I had to say. The console wars just didn't really feel the same. Well, the console wars died since I think the announcement of PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series S has came out, and yet it didn't really live up to the hype because there wasn't really enough exclusive. I felt like the consoles did not live long enough. Sony has announced the PlayStation 6, which is crazy because well, I actually had to look back when the PS5 came out, and boy, it has been pretty long. It just doesn't feel like it because there weren't many exclusives. Same thing with the Xbox, but Xbox we don't talk about them no more due to the fact that now they're just selling out. Heartbreaking for us for well, for people that are in the Xbox. So, at the end of the day, the war is over. Really nothing we could do because matter of fact, we're all just changing our minds about gaming because we're all going to get a PC. I have a feeling that PC is just going to take over. I mean, can you blame them? They're more powerful than the console. The only reason that I see people not getting PCs because yeah, they're pretty expensive, or get a console. All you have to do is plug in certain cables, and boom, just turn on, and there it goes. With PC, you can build it, put the wirings up and everything in. Sometimes it burns alive, or it just doesn't turn on at all. So it's honestly, it's all up to you at the end of the day. We're gamers and we do what we like to do, and it's just playing video games, coming home from a long day at work. Doesn't matter, male or female. We come home, we want to play video games with the homegirls, with the homeboys, and have a good time. So, yeah, that's all I really want to say.